Hello, friends, fans, and dairy products of all ages. This is Cheese of Ages, here to talk to you about a semi-anticipated MMO that has been in beta testing for a while and does weekend beta tests. Well, I got into one and played it, and it is, as you can tell from looking below, Wildstar. I really want to like this game more. Let's just be upfront and point blank about it. It's kind of hard to put into words. Presentation-wise, it's just amazing. It's just fabulous. Every aspect of its presentation. Yeah, like the little things that pop up that telegraph attacks and like clearly paint what attack range you've got and how the abilities work like that with the telegraphing and the charge up animations that make it easy to tell how far along it's charged. The whole actiony combat system, gameplay wise, is really great and well presented. The look of the game is kind of like a Saturday morning cartoon kind of deal. Like if you made a Saturday morning cartoon for an adult audience, that's how it looks. Everything is like cartoony and anime-ish if you like do elf kind of chicks. And the dragon race that's like dragony looks very much like old dragon-themed Saturday morning cartoon villains you'd see on the Disney Afternoon. And the robots are like long and lanky, and it has sort of like a semi-adults tinge to it because the little bunny ladies are sexualized, and like the female robots are very heavily styled as dominatrixes. But it's that kind of like mature Saturday morning cartoon undertone to it, like the kind of shows where like kids enjoy it but don't understand the dark undertones usually, but adults enjoy the undertones and kind of understand that little hidden bit undertone there, like this is actually what's there, you know, it's insinuating this very lightly kind of thing. Although if you like look at the video talking about the paths in the game, more on those later, it's very clear that that robot lady is like teacher fetish fuel. Because she does like the she has like the writing crop that she smacks her things with. She like flicks somebody's chin with it. And she like threatens somebody with a gun. She very fetish fueling in that regard. And heck, when you level up, every time you level up, big, like, 90s metal band text pops up with fireworks that says level up, and an announcer says, "Holy shit, you leveled up, good job, Cupcake." And it's just, every bit of the presentation just oozes personality. And it does have an actiony combat system where you dodge around and like you telegraph attacks, and you can get out of the telegraphed area for some attacks, dodge around, place your abilities carefully, position yourself, tactically organized, because you can see where everybody's stuff is going. Presentation-wise, it oozes personality, and the combat system isn't just stand around. It keeps you busy and doing things. That said, every single thing about the game besides that has no personality at all, and is often dull as hell. I mean, especially the settler path, because path is like, it's the crafting system, but it's an overlay, it's layered onto your character class, giving you extra missions that you would be doing anyway in our conventional RPG, and will give you the type of missions you want to play based on your playstyle. At least on paper, that's what it claims to do. The problem is the large majority of the quests for the large majority of the paths amount to go to this place, pick up this thing, and take it to this place. It's all the same type of mission. Go to this place, activate this thing on the ground. It's just got a different coat of paint on it. Like the settler, collect these objects and put them in here to erect a buff station that doesn't last nearly long enough for the amount of time it takes to put the crap in there. And people can, like, put extra batteries into it, put the resources gathered from everywhere into it to make it last longer. And there's bigger projects which will usually always be up, so you don't feel like they say, oh, Grug built a bar. No, he didn't. The large majority of the time when you go to that place, that is always the same place, everyone in that town that can build a bar will build it in the exact same place, and it will look exactly the same. You will just, a large majority of the time, somebody will have already built it and you're just adding time to it. Or you'll build it, come back 10 minutes later, and it'll be gone again, inexplicably. It just sucks beyond imagination, and it's not nearly rewarding enough to be a settler. And you can go around erecting these broken things, beautifying the place, and I assume the settler's the one that does that, and just like, oh, random things all around to, like, make this flower bloom, or fix this banner, do these things to make the area look better. But they only last about 30 seconds, and they don't give you any path XP. They're just like busy work that has no reward at all to it, or no reason for you to do it. And some might say, well, it goes that civil service thing. It's like, it doesn't contribute consistently. I could do that in every one of those nodes in that place, and only get actual credit for half of them. It just has no personality, and it's not rewarding enough. It needs to be fixed to where I'm actually making things. And oh, if I level up to 4, I can actually deploy something wherever I want. Yay, at level 4, after many, many, many hours of time working on it, I can build a campfire. There's nothing rewarding. They describe it as like you build improvements for the area. No, you don't. You gather miscellaneous things for a fetch quest that's not leveling up your actual characters, just leveling up your crafting. And putting them into a hole, you're basically collecting batteries for things. And the big projects that are like often hard to do and are the most time consuming are not rewarding at all, because most of the time, like I said, they're already erected. So you're just making them last longer, and there's no actual presentation to you building it the first time to begin with, which should come alongside a big project like that. I was under the inclination that the settler would actually expand things. It's like, oh, in expansion projects, build an improvement. Okay, here's this one point in the middle of town where a bunch of machines go around. You don't, build a bar. That doesn't count. That's like a big project thing. It sucks. It sucks bad. And scientists, oh, you scan points in the area to gather research information. It's the same thing. The only ones that are any different are soldier, which sends you into combat adventures against things you'd be fighting in the area anyway. An explorer, which will take you to places that you would be going anyway. And missions are harder to find because they don't pop up telling you there's where you need to be, general direction, because you got to find it. You got to just stumble across it even more than other adventures. I mean, I like the principle of it on paper. It's just so poorly implemented. People complained about Guild Wars 2 has a really nice coat of paint, very amazing presentation, but it lacks substance after a point. Wildstar is that to an enormous degree. Heck, the Wildstar makes freaking Guild Wars 2 seem like freaking the greatest, most intricately designed MMO in the history of mankind, with oodles and oodles of customization options for your combat style. I'm sure it opens up much later to be much better and more rewarding. I'm not like encouraged, considering like higher crafting tiers. Yay, I can deploy a vending machine as an ability. I'm not encouraged. And frankly, I don't have a lot of motivation to like play this game other than the presentation, the nice coat of paint on it. The gameplay is boring compared to a lot of other MMOs. It's just not bringing anything other than the presentation, the atmosphere, the look, the whole pioneering setting. There's nothing but the coat of paint here. I mean, you can enjoy it. It's perfectly fine and fun if you're into something like MMO and you don't care about like intricate depth and all the hype it tried to put out there. If you're just looking for a fun, like light MMO, like light MMO, then hell, go for this. If you want something where you can actually build up towns and expand them and like explore and do things and like pioneer and settle areas and just like be amazing, wait for Arcade to come out, because I've seen gameplay along streams about that in the alpha and things like that. There's not as much of the actiony combat going on. It's not as combating, but basically huge expansive world with a massive scope. And if you ask the question, can you do this in this game? Most likely the question is, not the question, but the answer to that is yes. There's going to be siege warfare in the open world. You could be a pirate, sailing the seven seas, attacking other ships and stealing their goodies. You can go treasure hunting in the wide open blue seas. You can explore massive mountain ranges trying to parkour up to points and hand gliding around. You can build a farm. You can get to max level just doing nothing but farming and selling your goods, which just makes it where I'm sold, because I haven't gotten a meaty MMO in my hands where you could just be a side job in a world of adventurers and still hit the level cap since Ultima Online, and that's the first major MMO in that game. And in Arcade, you could just be a blacksmith. You could just be the farmer. You could be the guy in the shop that gives people quests to go get materials, and you pay them, and you get that, and you make shit. People can bring you shit and pay you to make things. You can be a part of the economy in both of these games and still hit level cap. There's a reason Ultima Online is still going and still has a reasonably active player base for how old it is 20 years later. It's because of you could just do anything you want and be anybody you want in that game. That's longevity, and for a good reason. So anyway, I will be looking forward to Arcade when it comes out. And Arcade is actually completely free to play, unlike Wildstar, who offers this coat of paint for a pay to buy it game, and makes you pay a monthly subscription fee to have premium content, or be significantly decreased because you have to pay in-game money for gameplay time, which enables a pay-to-win kind of structure where people can use real money to buy game time and then sell it on the auction house kind of mentality, where they can just buy gold and afford anything they want. Anyway, if you like light MMOs and don't care about depth or anything and just want to enjoy a Saturday morning cartoon spaced western, go ahead and look into Wildstar when it comes out. But honestly, I could see buying the game and it being Guild Wars 2 from that point on. That I would be all on board for. I would just Shining review if it was like that. But after that, being having a subscription program, no. And to answer the question, if you're having that question in your mind, Guild Wars 2 or Wildstar, which do I prefer? Guild Wars 2. Nah, I don't even have to think about it. I mean, they're two, that's like apples and oranges. Space Western, medieval fantasy. But still, gameplay, substance, and what's there, Guild Wars 2. Space Western, hey, that's great. You know, if you want Space Western more than you want medieval fantasy, go ahead. Wildstar. And you got money to waste, and you don't mind the crafting system that's boring as fuck and pretty much doesn't exist, go ahead. This will be Cheese of Ages signing off.